What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel today. Today we're going to be going over the best values in fantasy football this year. Basically, the guys who I'm probably going to end up with the most on my team. If you haven't been to the channel before, please hit like, please hit subscribe later on in the video if you gained some value from this video. So to get it kicked off today, my number one, or just the first guy on the list, is going to be Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver for the Dolphins, going off the board as wide receiver 19 right now, which I think is just way too late for Jaylen Waddle. He was basically going as a second round pick last year, and really the only thing that's changed is that we were slightly burned by him last year, but he just had a very strange season. He left some games early, he had some weird stats, he got hurt a couple times, but in general, Jaylen Waddle is going to be an elite performer for your fantasy team. I love targeting him in the third round of fantasy drafts. And he carries this weird handcuff thing for a wide receiver that if something were to happen to Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle could be a league winner for you. Next is going to be a veteran running back, Joe Mixon. Love taking this guy in the fourth round. I think his value has fallen from where it's been the last couple years, but he's arguably on a better offense than he has been in the past. And basically every season that he finished the season and played all of the games, Joe Mixon was a top 10 running back. Currently going as RB15. I like taking a chance on there. He is not really going to be having any competition from above from those guys in Houston. I'm not scared of Dameon Pierce. I'm not scared of Ogunbowale, although he was a great kicker the other year, if you guys remember that. But when it comes down to it, Joe Mixon is the perfect RB2 for your fantasy team if you want to take some receivers in rounds 2, 3, or 1 or something and still get a guy who's going to produce for you. So I love targeting Joe Mixon if you're looking at a running back in that range. Next, the best value for a quarterback in fantasy football this year is Jared Goff. Quarterback 15 ADP wise, finished the season as QB 8 last year, and nothing has changed. Really, the only thing that's changed is some of his rookies from last year, Laporta, Gibbs, and then the sophomore, Jameson Williams, are a year more into their career, and they should be better. He has amazing weapons, all those guys I just listed, plus Amon-Ra St. Brown. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, still the same. And the kicker for Jared Goff plays over 75% of his games inside this year, where he's usually performed very well, especially at home. So I think Jared Goff is a great guy if you're going with a late round QB. He's one of the guys I really like to target later in fantasy drafts if I'm still looking for a quarterback. Next, Rashee Rice. The value on him is going to change in the next 2 weeks, so take advantage if you're drafting now. Currently wide receiver 36. That has a looming suspension built in, which I just do not think is going to happen for Rashee Rice at this point. I feel great taking Rashee Rice in the fourth round. You're getting him in the sixth now, but I feel very comfortable reaching on him if I have to. Hollywood Brown's going to start the season out. I like Xavier Worthy, but he is a rookie. Kelsey's going to be a year older, probably save some of his juice for the playoffs like they did last year. Rice could be the number one weapon for that Chiefs passing game, and you're getting him later than he really should be going, basically due to this suspension that as we get closer to the season starting, probably isn't going to happen. Next for me, DJ Moore, a guy who was a top 10 wide receiver last year with Justin Fields at quarterback, gets an upgrade but falls in ADP. Yes, this is based on them adding Odunze, Keenan Allen, but when it comes down to it, DJ Moore's the best wideout on that team, and I think there's going to be plenty to go around, especially at his ADP of wide receiver 21. I think DJ Moore in the fourth round, fifth round, kind of in that Rashee Rice range. If I could go back-to-back with those guys in 4 or 5, go Jaylen Waddle round 3, get a couple running backs to start off the draft, your team starts looking pretty nasty. And I'm going to tell you that from experience in drafts that I'm doing. So I think DJ Moore is underrated. He's a great player, and he's going to be the alpha wide receiver in redraft fantasy this season for the Bears. Next, Tank Dell, one of my favorite upside guys who's going a little later, round 5, round 6 for Tank Dell. I like getting Nico Collins in the third, but if I miss out on Nico, I like getting Tank Dell as that kind of boom-bust player in round 5, round 6. Put him in your flex, put him at your wide receiver 2, 3, and let this dude win you some weeks. He played as the alpha for a stretch last year for the Texans. Now, I think all these Texans receivers are going to have their weeks. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is going to have some weeks. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. But I am willing to bet on a good offense and a great talent from what I saw last season. Next, my favorite late round running back to go get, Chase Brown. He's going behind Zach Moss, but I think he's going to be the more efficient runner by the end of the season. He's going to make more plays. He's going to be used in the passing game more. And when it comes down to it, that's the guy you'd rather have on your fantasy football team. I don't want the guy that's going to be as boring. I want the upside of Chase Brown, especially where you're getting him rounds 8, rounds 9. He's going to be a bench player for you potentially, but I think by the end of the year, you're going to want to put this dude into your starting lineup, especially if you can see an increased workload as the season kind of goes on. And my last one is one of my favorite late round wide receiver picks, Khalil Shakir, going off the board, wide receiver 52. Curtis Samuel, MVS, both coming into the season a little banged up. I think that could give Shakir a chance to get some more targets early on, maybe earn a bigger role as the season progresses. He could lead this team in targets. I do think I'm targeting Kincaid way earlier, but Shakir is a double digits round kind of guy that could potentially be one of the best receiving assets on one of the best offenses. Now, it's a little risky, but that's why we're taking him as a sleeper in a late round pick instead of in the early rounds. I also like taking a shot on Keon Coleman at his ADP. But I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel. I'm trying a new system, a new camera setup here. If you think it looks a little better, please shoot me a comment in the video below. I'd love to hear from all you. Like the video, subscribe, keep coming back. The more likes, the more views we get, the more I want to make videos for you guys and be there and help you win your leagues, help your draft out. If you have any questions about your draft, please leave me a comment. I want to help everyone as much as I can. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you later.